of the presentation today is, so you have a great idea, now what? My name is Geof White. As Mark said, I'm the author of Lemonade Stand Economics. And you all met Kim, she's the editor. If you're ever going to write a book, you need a good editor, just so you know. I wrote Lemonade Stand Economics to teach students how to work for themselves and pay for college without loans. What we found is that most students don't know where to start or what to do to make above minimum wage. $7.50 an hour is not going to pay for college. When I was a high school and college student, I made $50 an hour working for myself. And that's why I'm up here talking to you today, because you can do that too, you just need to do some certain things. Lemonade Stand Economics is not just your typical how to start a business book. Lemonade Stand Economics starts with the end in mind, and the end is paying for college without loans. We're not starting the next corporate empire, and we're not necessarily starting a business that you're going to run for the rest of your life. Necessarily, it may happen. This is more about earning money and paying for college so that you don't have to graduate with a boatload of debt. So, what if you already have some student loan debt? Is it too late? It's not. You just don't want to take any new debt. So what if you graduate with $5,000 in student loans? It sure beats $20,000 in student loans. That $15,000 will make a huge difference when you graduate. So, I want to tell you my story, how I became an entrepreneur and a student business owner. My story started in the mayor's chair. I was a freshman in high school, and I took a summer job working for Rochester Window Cleaning. I'm from Rochester, New York. And my job was to clean windows all day. I'd go out with a crew, and actually I really enjoyed it. You're outside, it's kind of like landscaping. You're outside all day, and you're just cleaning some windows. I did that for a whole summer, and then the next year I went back and worked for them again. But halfway through the year, things changed a little bit. I was standing in the mayor's chair. We were cleaning the windows at the mayor's office, and I was standing on his chair behind his desk, which you're really not supposed to do, but I was doing that. Didn't have a ladder with me. And I'm cleaning the window, and the office girl peeks her head in and goes, "Do you do house windows on the side?" I'd never thought of it. Never thought about that at all. I said, sure. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly how I said it, because I had never really thought about that before. So she wrote down her address and said, "Oh, come by my house tonight and give me an estimate." And I said, okay. So I drove out there afterwards and walked up to the house and realized I had no idea how to price a job. I knew how to clean windows. I was a really good window cleaner, but I had no idea how to price something. So I guessed. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. I said, $60. She said, okay. And then she said, well, how about next Saturday? I said, okay, well, I'll come out next Saturday. And I walked away from the house thinking, I don't even have my own tools. So that week I went to the janitorial supply house. You know, we didn't have the internet back then, so the janitorial supply house. Went there and bought some squeegees and went out there that Saturday and cleaned her windows, and everything went well. Like I said, I knew how to clean windows. And when I was done, she paid me. And she paid me with 3 crisp $20 bills. And I remember that like it was yesterday. 3 really crisp $20 bills. And I remember thanking her and shaking her hand and walking away, looking at the money going, oh my God, I made $60 and I only worked for 3 hours. I made $20 an hour. And when I worked for Rochester Window Cleaning, it was $3.35 an hour. That was minimum wage in whatever year that was, 86. So all of a sudden I'm doing the math and I walk to my car, $20 an hour, $3.35 an hour, and that was the moment that the entrepreneurial switch in my head flipped. Because why would I work for $3.35 an hour when I can work for $20 an hour? The only difference was I'd have to go find the customers. That's the only difference. So I could have taken that $60 and blown it and just gone back to work for $3.35 an hour. And I did work $3.35 an hour for a while until I got my own business started. But from that moment on, my mind just kept racing. I gave myself a $17 raise, $17 an hour, and I don't want to give that back. All I had to do was go find more customers. That $20 an hour became my new standard. My mind had wrapped itself around tight. You can make 20 bucks an hour cleaning windows now. Why do it for $3.35? So I busted my butt to do that. As the years went on, it increased. It went from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 real quick. And once it was at 50, that's about where it stayed. I didn't come up with my great idea to work for myself. That idea found me. It kind of hit me in the head standing in the mayor's chair. So that's the mayor's chair story. Now let's talk about your great idea. First, what if you don't have one? Are you screwed? Is paying for college not possible? Let's look at some common misconceptions, some stumbling blocks that we need to kick out of the way. Number one, it's not about reinventing the wheel. You don't need to invent something new or create a new widget. I clean windows. Window cleaning has been around since the Romans. Don't get hung up on the creativity of it. There's a lot of money to be made doing things like mowing lawn, tutoring, doing things like fixing computers. Cleaning alone is so huge in terms of dollars that just cleaning is a big one. The second thing I want to talk about, it's not about opening a storefront. That's a misconception. Everyone thinks they need to have a storefront. Well, guess what? Storefronts are expensive. So are the shelves, so is the cash register, so are all the employees that stock the shelves and run the cash register. That's all overhead. And my overhead as a window cleaner was a bucket of squeegees and a ladder. Keep it simple. Third stumbling block, it's not about starting the next Microsoft. A small business is a manageable business. Remember, you're in college. You have classes, you have projects, you have fun. This is about earning as much as you can to pay for college. Leave the corporate structure for later, maybe after college. So tonight I'm going to give you 6 things you need to do to make your idea pay for college. Keep in mind, the idea itself won't pay for college, but what you do with it can. Before I start, each of these things I'm going to tell you might seem like no big deal, and really alone they're not. But when you put them all together with a good idea, you've got something very powerful, and there's a lot of money to be made. First thing you need to do is educate yourself. Yes, you're sitting in school and now you need to educate yourself again. You need to learn everything you can about your business idea. What should you learn about? You need to learn about your competition. You need to learn about the marketplace, how much to charge, learn about successful businesses in that field, learn about failures in that field. If your idea sucks, you need to know about it now. You don't want the idea to suck once you've started and you've invested some money or you've put a lot of time into it. You want to know if it sucks ahead of time. As a college student, what resource do you have that I don't have? Anybody? Time. Time? You probably have more time. Maybe. I don't know. Our illustrator, Robert, we saw, the UW Scout kid, he said it best. He wrote, you have so many more resources available to you as a student. People want to help you, lots of them, for free. He's talking about your professors. Robert's owned the business for 4 years. This is how he says it. He says, you know, I hate accounting. And I totally agree with him, I hate accounting too. But he said, when I go to accounting class, I know what I want to learn. Because I have a business, accounting's huge when you own a business. When he went to his professor and said, you know, I got a business, and his professor now teaches him on the side about things that you really need to know that's more catered towards business. Those professors are there for you guys. And there's no reason you can't go up to them and say, hey, can you help me out with this? Teachers are teachers, and teachers like to help students. Knowledge will increase efficiency and reduce problems. The more you know, the sooner you know it, the better. What you don't know in business can hurt you. When things go wrong, many times it's because of something you're completely unaware of. Now I'm going to tell you the story about my failed painting job. I was a window cleaner. I had a window cleaning customer, and they said, "Hey, do you paint?" And I had painted a lot, actually. I could have been a painter as well as a window cleaner. I had painted walls, I had painted houses. I had never painted cabinets before, but they had some cabinets. They wanted their kitchen cabinets painted. So they said, "Can you do that?" I said, "Sure, I'm a great painter." So they hired me, and I came in. They weren't home, and I think I had a whole weekend to do it, if I remember correctly. They were out of town, and I removed all the cabinet doors. I labeled them so they could go back in the right spot. I took off all the hardware. I painted them. The painting went beautifully. They were painted beautifully. I put the hardware back on. I hung up all the doors. I went to show them, and they all went like this. Not one cabinet door shut. They all hit right there. And that's when I realized that I wasn't ready for that job. I was unprepared. I didn't have the right tools. I didn't have the right knowledge, and I was unprepared. So then the customers come home, and there are all their doors, and I really don't have the tools to fix it. All the doors needed to be cut, and long story short, they were really nice about it. I didn't charge them, although they did pay me some, just because I worked so hard on it, and some of the job was complete. They had to have a professional come in and fix it. The reason I failed is because I did not educate myself. I thought I could do it. Oh yeah, I can do it. Well, I couldn't. If I had known a couple more things, I could have done it right. The second thing, training. Why do you think training is so important? Because you need to get good at whatever you do. You practice, you rehearse, you do it until you're good at it, until you are great at it. The only reason I was able to charge $50 an hour as a college student cleaning windows was because I was a great window cleaner. It was perfect every time. In terms of training, training can be a tricky thing. Sometimes training's easy, sometimes you get paid for training. My training was at Rochester Window Cleaning. They trained me how to clean windows for an entire summer and a half before I went on my own. I was trained that way. I wasn't trained in the business world. I had to learn that on my own. If you can find a job that'll pay you to train you to do something on your own, that's important. Think about all the jobs you've already had. Can you use those skills to start your business? The third thing, if you end up reading Lemonade Stand Economics, there's a lot of marketing in the book. This is probably my favorite. What do you need to know to market effectively? You need to know as much about your customer as you possibly can. Who are your customers? Where will you find them? When will you find them? How do you find them? What do they want? You need to know what they want. What are some good ways to market that are cost effective for the student? Anybody? What's that?
Facebook.
Facebook, that's a good one. Anybody else?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Okay, I'm just going to rattle off a few. You got student groups like this. This is a networking opportunity right here. You got Facebook, flyers, we're going to talk about flyers a little bit, networking, signs, Craigslist, referrals. Referrals are king. Let me tell you about how I used to market my window cleaning business. My marketing was a little blue sheet of paper, literally. I drew a window, hand drew it, wrote on there, residential window cleaning, free estimates, call Geof White with my phone number on it. And my mother would copy them at work, and she'd copy them on blue paper for me. And my first idea was, I'm going to drop these flyers in the parking lot because I can hit 100 cars in about 10 minutes. Ran around and put them all underneath windshields, and I did it all over town. I didn't get a single call. Nothing. The reason why? I don't know who those customers are. They might live in an apartment with 2 windows. They might live an hour away. It might be a teenager driving their mom's car, and they can care less about window cleaning. That marketing didn't work. Then I started taking my flyers and putting them in the newspaper boxes, not the mailbox. You get in trouble for that. That's a whole other story. But you put it in the newspaper box in the neighborhoods you want to clean windows. And that worked. A lot of times I would put them in the same neighborhoods as maybe the couple jobs that I already had. And next thing you know, you're getting phone calls. Of all the marketing I did though, the flyers were great, it got things started. But what really was the most impactful was the referrals. every time I finished the job and I collected my money and thanked him for the business, I would ask him, do you know anyone else that might like their windows cleaned? Do you have a relative or a neighbor? And I can't tell you how many jobs I got out of that. Never leave the job without asking for more work, because they want to find you more work if they're happy with you. And almost every single time they wrote down either their sister's name or the neighbor's name, and I called them, they said, oh yeah, my windows are dirty. Next thing you know, I picked up another job. At that point, I'm working on cleaning windows and my customers are referring that they're doing my marketing for me. And that's where you want to get to. This one sounds obvious. Get to work. What do you think I mean by get to work? I mean bust your ass and get to work. No slacking. When you work for yourself, there is no slacking. Yes, work at your service, but also work on your business. Keep educating yourself. The learning never stops. Is there a more efficient way to do it? Is there a better tool to use? Did your competitor change their pricing, therefore maybe affecting your pricing? Work on constantly improving systems and efficiency. That's how you make the big bucks. That's the difference between the guy that goes out and works for himself making 10 bucks an hour and the guy that goes out and works for himself making 50. And a little story here. I used to time myself cleaning windows all the time. It sounds crazy, but it worked. If I could improve my time, my dollars per hour goes up. Meaning if I could clean windows a little bit faster or a little more efficiently, my dollars per hour would go up. If I can save 60 seconds on each window, and a house has, say, 15 windows, I just saved myself 15 minutes. If I did 4 houses a day, which I've done before many times, that I would give myself 1 hour. And what was an extra hour worth to me? 50 bucks. Just by saving 60 seconds on a few windows through the day. Conversely, distractions are very expensive. Anybody here text? Yeah, everybody? I do too. What happens if you text for 60 seconds at every window? Which is pretty easy to do with, you know, the K's and oh my God and all that stuff. Yeah, then you just cost yourself 50 bucks. So watch your distractions. And it's not you usually that's distracted, it's your friends. Because your friends don't care how much money you're making. Here's another real obvious one. Do a good job. Why provide the best customer service available? Why? Pride. It's your business. What reputation do you want? The guy that does a good job or the guy that doesn't? Because it only goes 2 ways. A happy customer will refer you to others. If that one happy customer refers you to 5 friends and 3 of them hire you, all of a sudden you're just cleaning windows and your customers are marketing for you again. When I was cleaning windows for 50 bucks an hour, I was still getting tips. I mean, these people are paying me a lot. I would do a house, it would take me 4 hours, I'd charge them 200 bucks, and they'd give me $220. They were tipping me because I was doing the extras. I would do the bathroom mirror for them for free. If I saw that they were bringing in groceries, I'd run out and I'd help them. If I saw them taking out garbage, I'd run out and I'd help them. One lady, I remember I was doing the estimate, she had a Frisbee on her roof. And I look up and, you know, most people don't have a way to get on the roof. So I said to her, you know, I can jump up and grab that right now for you. You know, I grabbed the ladder out of the car, ran up, grabbed it. It took me, you know, 3 minutes. And she was so excited about that, she hired me right on the spot. And those little things make a huge difference. Because what did she do? She ran and told all of her friends. We have something in the book called the kid card, and I used to play that kid card. The kid card is, you're a college student, you're paying for college, and the customer likes that. They like it a lot. They want to help and do business with the enterprising young college student. They want to give you money, so take it. Okay, this is the last one. This separates the men from the boys. Seek other opportunities. What other opportunities could there be? With whatever you do, there will be other opportunities to make money. In the book, I call them side jobs. look for them, seek them out. They may not be the same thing as what you're doing. My side jobs were not window cleaning. They were painting, they were pulling carpet, there were so many things. It's important because every business has its seasons. There's slow times, there's busy times. As a window cleaner, spring and fall, you're swamped. In the winter, not so much to do. You need to be able to recognize those opportunities and go after them. I've got a real good example of a side job that came out of nowhere. I was cleaning someone's windows, and the neighbor comes over. This is quite common. You're cleaning windows, and the neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, give me an estimate on my house." Okay. So I run over there and I do the estimate, and she goes, "Well, I really want you to come on Friday because my daughter's getting married on Sunday, and we're having a reception in our backyard." And I was one of those kids that was looking for opportunities all over the place. I grew up with a single mom. I needed the money. I had to pay for college myself. So I ran over there, and I looked at her house. She said, "Oh, can you come on Friday?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you need any help on Saturday setting up for the reception?" And she goes, "You know, that's not a bad idea." She goes, "Why don't you come over?" And I can't remember, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. It was early. She said, "Come over and we'll see if we got something to do." I was there all day. They paid me, I can't remember how much she paid me, it was by the hour. She fed me. I moved probably 10,000 chairs, tables all over the place. I remember I cleaned the pool. I did everything that that lady didn't want to do or didn't have time to do. To her, she was throwing all the jobs she didn't want to do at me. "Oh, I'm paying this kid, he can do it." And I did it all. One of her friends stopped over to see what was going on, and she ended up hiring me to clean her windows too. So I picked up another job while I was there. Look for those other opportunities. It's not something you can put on your flyer. I would have never put on my flyer wedding reception setup. But when she mentioned that, I thought, oh, there's an opportunity for me to make some money, and I got a day to work out of it. Okay, those are the 6 things. Those are the 6 things you need to do with your idea. Now that I've flipped your entrepreneurial switch, I'd like to end tonight with a challenge. Let's do a quick thing I call the parking ticket challenge. This idea came from a true story. Mark had mentioned I went to Michigan State University. It's a very large university. I had a friend named Jay, and sophomore year we lived in Hubbard Hall, it's called. And there was a big parking lot outside called X Lot, and X Lot was the size of, you know, the typical Walmart parking lot. It was enormous. If you had a parking pass, you were okay in X Lot. If you didn't, they were going to give you a ticket. Why they never towed, I don't know. But they would ticket you. Anyway, I had a parking pass, I was fine. Jay did not. Jay parked out there and said, "Screw it. They give me a ticket, they give me a ticket, I don't care." Well, they gave him a ticket every single day until the end of the semester. And you think that's bad. They were thick. We used to drive around laughing. Like, you couldn't use the windshield wipers because they were all fly away and we just liked it. So all of a sudden we get our grades. Except Jay didn't get his grades. So he calls the school and he goes, "I didn't get my grades." And they're like, "You didn't pay your parking tickets." And he's like, "Well, can I pay them later?" And they're like, "No, and you can't register next semester either until you pay your tickets." So, let me tell you, Jay's dad was really pissed. Jay didn't have a job. I don't think Jay didn't have a job after college. So, let's pretend that you just got the phone call. You cannot register for classes next semester because you have parked an X Lot and you owe $500 in parking tickets. You don't have the $500 in your pocket, so you need to earn it. What are you going to do? How are you going to earn $500 in 1 week? That's what the little cards are for. You guys are each going to write down an idea. How are you going to make $500 in a week?
What's the one rule?
The one rule, nothing illegal. All right. Who wrote Lemonade Stand? You get the suck up award.
There you go.
You get a book just for sucking up.
Let's give him a hand.
Can you make some money with a lemonade stand? Sure. You can make $500 a week? Probably not.
These are 3 really good ones. There was a lot of entries about things related specifically to your area. A valet service for people who don't have a parking pass. valet service for drunk people, food for drunk people. You obviously know your demographic.
After saying that,
That's a good one.
okay, I'm like the guy in my group of friends that everyone passes the new idea to for obvious reasons. I had an attorney friend of mine call me one day, dead serious. Jeff, I want to start a taxi service that a college kid could do. Just, he would be connected with a bunch of local businessmen. When they go out drinking and whatever, they would call the college student. The college student would go in a scooter to his vehicle, put the scooter in the trunk, and then drive the guy's car back. Because the problem is to go pick someone up and take them, then their car is stuck at the bar. So they would drive the scooter, put the scooter in the trunk, and then drive their car home and then scooter back. He's like, this is a viable option.
So write that down.
This is the funny part of this story, okay? This attorney's wife is from England. And he had this great idea. I mean, like, he's ready to go with it. And I'm like, okay, you got a couple issues going on here. Number one, winter. Do you ever try scootering in February? Not to mention a couple other liability issues that are pretty big. Anyway, he's like, it's such a great idea, it's such a great idea. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I'm not taking on new ideas right now. I'm writing a book. I got enough to do. He goes home and he tells his wife this idea. And she goes, oh, you know, my high school boyfriend did that in the Philippines, and he made $1 million. He looked him up online, and sure enough, this guy has this huge business in the Philippines with like hundreds of scooters all over the place, and they're carting drunk people around. And anyway, it hasn't happened here, but that's not a bad idea. There's some liability issues.
I see a lot of stuff in here about hot dog stands for drunk people, valet services for drunk people, sandwiches for drunk people.
Well, you know, the drunk people business does matter.
So you're on a college campus, you might have a few intoxicated individuals.
Okay,
Somebody take care of that.
We have a couple of good ones. We're just talking a couple things about it. This first one, I would start a cupcake stand and hand out cupcakes around campus for $1 each and offer to make birthday special occasion cakes for their friends as a congrats or happy birthday cake, special occasion cake for $5 to $10.
Who's that?
What is it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Now, let's talk about it a little
Cupcakes are
bit.
hot.
Is it realistic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can make some cupcakes. Yeah. Where are you going to have the problems? Marketing, I think you're going to do okay with that.
You just need the cupcakes and drunk people.
Drunk people like cupcakes. Where's the problem going to lie in this? It's going to be $500 in a week. If you went the whole year with this, darn good idea. Because you know what? What do you do? Okay, all the guys in the room. What do you do when it's your girlfriend's birthday and you got about $10 in your pocket?
Buy her 10 cupcakes.
Buy her some cupcakes, because, you know, otherwise you're just, you know, that guy. All right, next one. Knit scarves with thick yarn. They are easy and go quick.
Who's that?
Who's that?
That's a good one.
That'll make money. We got to find the right customers, though.
What I liked about that one is that she knew that the yarn was thick and it would go faster.
Right.
It's February in Wisconsin.
Right.
I'm saying scarves.
You know what you do? You show up at a couple of old folks' homes. You say, look what I'm selling, and you're going to sell out quick. Brianna, we talked about, sells the blankets, and I'm talking a lot of blankets she sells. They're very, very thick. Brianna went with quality versus really chintzy stuff. The reason it works for her, she's 10 years old. What do people expect from a 10-year-old? They expect a project at home, a doily, whatever. No, she's giving you a thick quality blanket. Quality is huge when you're selling something.
And she does scarves too because they're so... She cut her overhead because you can make 4 scarves out of the same thing as one blanket. And she charges twice as much for the scarves, so she makes twice as much on that same yardage.
Right. I don't think you're going to have the drunk demographic as much.
Although, you know, drunk guys with money, they might buy something you
never know. Okay. Find some small companies in the area by asking professors, friends, etc. Ask if they need some marketing advice or materials, brochures, etc., and charge $20 an hour. Yeah.
Who's that?
Whose is that?
Oh, the girls just kick butt tonight.
Yeah.
Round of applause for the girls.
You got it. By the way, when we first started looking for kids who had started businesses, at first we found a couple boys, And now that we've found a whole bunch of them, the girls are outweighing the boys at this point in numbers. Okay, this right here is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. This is something you want to run with. You want to expand on it a little bit? I do own a business. I own Valley Window Cleaning up in Appleton. We're a very large window cleaning operation. If somebody came to my door and said, "Can I help you with your marketing? I can hand out flyers, or maybe I got some brochures for you or something," I would sit down and have a conversation with that person. And if I would, I know 10 other small businesses would too, because what are small businesses crappy at? Marketing. They suck. You know why? Because the plumber is plumbing, and the window cleaner is cleaning windows, and the painter is painting. They're not marketing, they're working. So how are they getting the word around? At best, they're networking a little bit, they're getting some referrals. But if a college student walked up to you and said, "I have some ideas for you, and this is what I was thinking, demographically, you know, I could pass out flyers in this neighborhood, this neighborhood, this neighborhood. I could make these flyers for graphic support." What are all small businesses bad at also? Graphics. I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars I've spent on graphics.
That's a really
I'm not talking like thousands. I'm probably tens of thousands at this point over the last 10 years. Because every brochure needs to be made, graphically set up. It needs to be printed, which the printing you're not going to be able to do on your own. You go to Kinko's or wherever and they print it.
That one's really good too, because what you may or may not know is, from a marketing perspective, especially businesses in this area, who do they really want to get? They want to get college students. You make the flyers, you do them 2 up on 8.5 by 11, right? So you've doubled your flyer space. You distribute them on campus. You talk to them, you put a special code on there so everybody that goes in there, they're going to know it came from that flyer. And we just recently met a high school student. He's 15. He's been doing this business for 2 years already.
And he's nationwide.
He's got kids all over the country, and what they do is they email a flyer, download a PDF, print them, and he's got large and small companies that are paying people to distribute those flyers.
Because I'll give you what really happens at a business. And this is a true story. This happens to me every year. Winter's slow for the window cleaner, and then as soon as spring hits, we're just crazy, crazy busy. In the winter, I think, okay, this is how I'm going to market this spring. Because you always want to market during a busy season so that when you slide into the not busy season, which for us is July, August, there's a good lull there. So you want to market like crazy when you're on the tail end of busy, so that you're busy through that lull. I always get good ideas, and guess what I don't do? I don't follow through with them. Why? Too busy. So when you show up and say, when you get busy, I'd love to help you with this, the business owner's going to go, that's smart. Because at that point, what do you do when a business owner is really busy? What's great? What does he not negotiate so much? How much he's going to pay you? Because when you're busy, you have cash flow. If you come see me on February 25th, the window cleaner doesn't have any money in his pocket. Come see me at the end of June, and I got stacks of cash. And if it's going to market for summer to make me a little bit more money, I'm going to do it. So this idea, you want to run with that a little bit, because there is something there, and it's the potential. Now, for $500 a week, that's going to be a little tough. But you hit one good business, they may say, here's the deal, I want to do a marketing plan, and it's going to be a $500 plan, and we can't execute it until now. So is it realistic? It could happen in a week. It takes some selling, but that's a really, really good idea.
Yep, we got a lot, a whole stack of them, really good ideas, and I think that's way more good ideas.
And catering to drunks is, yes, a demographic, so.
I mean, if you're talking, we did get a couple.
Taco Bell has made its living off of that.
Yeah, exactly. A couple people said they would just sell the car. Sell the car, pay the tickets, and they would get any more
tickets. Did we
so.
get any calling home to the parents?
We did not.
Actually, good job.
That too.
You're not reliant on the parents. Okay, so we're going to conclude here. This was a lot of fun. I hope you learned something from all of this. I've given you the 6 things you need to start with your idea. This is enough to jumpstart your idea, but it's just a taste of lemonade stand economics. I can't cram all 160 pages into a 45-minute CEO meeting. I throw a lot of information at you. I appreciate you guys coming out, and I'm going to stick around after to answer questions. And if you guys have great ideas, please bring them to me. We also have books for sale. Get you going down the right path to your debt-free degree. And thank you to Mark Busto for having me.
You guys all keep on